everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ada, your online therapist. I like to call myself an online therapist because I present to you information that you would otherwise have to walk into an actual therapist's office and pay tons and tons of dollars, thousands maybe even, just to hear, oh, you just need to relax. Oh, you just need to have a little more fun, talk to someone, breathe. Of course, that's really important. I'm just saying. I feel like it's always good to self-check, like check in with yourself and make sure, just to make sure that do I know everything about me? Is it really serious? Am I taking things out of context? Do I need to do more research before you go running into a doctor's office? Doctor's office is good. You can always call a doctor or just ask, what should I do in a situation of so and so and so. If you don't feel convinced, of course, head over to your doctor's office and say, look, everyone's telling me something else. I need you to fix me, right? So guys, today's topic, I'm going to be talking about behavior. We're going to be analyzing behavior. It's called applied behavior analysis in real context. But you know where we're going with it. We're going to keep it as simple. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible, okay? Otherwise, if I had to use all the strong terminologies, and grandma, you'd be running and skittling to the door or changing channel. Don't touch that channel. All right, guys, so recently, more like over the past week, I've been learning about applied behavior. So basically, behaviors are a form of communication, okay? Whether it's people to people, people to children, children to children, guardians or professionals, health professionals, in terms of mental health professionals, basically to decipher what is going on with a person and to understand what they're trying to say. Oftentimes, the way I'm talking to you is a form of communication. Smiling, there's verbal and nonverbal, and then there's paraverbal ways to communicate. Verbal, as you know, is speaking. Nonverbal in terms of tone, gesture, and all of that. Okay? And when we talk about paraverbal, where I put it, paraverbal is I'm talking to you and you don't know what I'm saying. You can tell from the tone of my voice that I'm agitated or angry, or apprehensive, compared to me just giving you a mean stare. I'm angry if I give you a mean stare. And you also know I'm angry if I'm looking at you, I'm like, I'm not very pleased with that. I'm not giving you much as a mean stare, but you can hear from my words that I am not pleased. So nonverbal is often your facial expression, your body language, like crossing your arm, it's like crossed arms are kind of defensive. So when your arms are crossed, most people will not approach you because you are in a defensive, don't talk to me position. All right, guys? So let's get into it. So what are the functions of behavior? First of all, let's define what behavior is. Okay? What is behavior? Simply put, behavior is a response to stimuli. Stimuli could be things, people, other creatures, the weather, someone could, or an event, a loss triggers an emotional behavior such as crying, moodiness, depression, throwing tantrums. Kids throw tantrums when they miss their parents. Kindergartners, that a lot. Events that make you unhappy, people, seeing someone you love triggers you to act all giggly and giddy and happy, and so on. Behavior seen a spider can make you run for the door in the hills, right? So behavior is a response to to external stimuli. It could also be to stimuli. It could be internal, such as a stomach ache. Behavior could be internal, such as a stomach ache. It could be internal, such as just, feeling gratitude. It could be internal, such as not feeling well. You just don't want to be around anybody. You just For some women during their period, it could trigger off some hormonal changes that can make them irritable and stuff like that. Okay, so behavior is a response to stimuli. Now, what is applied behavior? Is how we study behavior so that we can help people deal with the consequences and outcomes of behavior and modify. Basically, applied behavior analysis is how to modify behavior to get a desired result. Okay. Now, what is the function of behavior? When we talk about behavior, there must be a reason. Um, Behavior is a form of communication. Just like I said before, I can communicate with you with my words and nonverbal or paraverbal. Okay, behavior is a form of communication. You know, basically with behavior, you're trying to say something, but you're not using your words. You're not communicating with body language. Sometimes you can communicate with body language. Um, I've seen kids who kick. Well, by body language, I don't mean in its entirety, but with behavior, you're using an entire event or expression. You're expressing yourself instead of using your words. So it's used for communication. And in this case, we're talking about maladaptive behaviors, how behaviors can quickly be used negatively. Oftentimes good behaviors are rewarded, but it wouldn't be such a bad thing if there was a maladaptive behavior or what we call bad behavior in street terms or layman terms, but science doesn't like to call it, health doesn't like to call it bad behavior. It's called maladaptive, poorly adaptive behavior. And when you look at the word maladaptive, it means you have a poor adaptation to your environment. Okay, so it's you have to figure out the why. Okay, if behavior is a form of communication, the next thing is what that person is saying and why they're behaving like that. The why is the what. All right, guys. So when we talk about behavior, we have to understand if there's a why, then what are those whys? We have one. There's a sensory, okay, which is often called the automatic. We have the escape or avoidance. We have attention, and we have access to tangible things. Okay, these are the 4 reasons why people have behavior. Sensory means anything from your 5 senses. You hear, you see, you smell. You hear, see, smell, touch. What else am I seeing? So a kid hears an ice cream truck and starts to go, yay, and jump around and feel so excited and like, yay, without knowing for certain if they're gonna get it. Okay, they've already built up all that expectation. And then they see it and they run back in the house, mommy, daddy, ice cream. And of course, mommy, daddy says, no, you already ate lunch, you already had your snack, no ice cream for today or for now. All of that expectation, all of that hope, what do you think is going to happen? Well, now, if you did not set the precedence for that situation, that behavior, you see, kids will learn boundaries by pushing boundaries, okay? And the kid says, yay, I'm gonna get ice cream, and then they don't get ice cream. All that energy is just gone from positive to negative, and it's gonna be a lot of wailing, a lot of crying, a lot of pacing back and forth, tapping the floor, hitting you. This is for kids who don't have developmental disabilities. For kids with developmental abilities, for when we're talking about sensory behavior, they're gonna be tapping, flailing their hands, they're going to be pacing back and forth, or just have a movement. Or usually with kids living with autism, they're going to be, pacing, doing this, like trying to let you know that something has triggered their behavior. Often there is a why, so be mindful. Oftentimes it's from things that we don't even notice. For kids who are photosensitive, Immediately they have flashing lights, they're gonna go trigger, they're gonna start doing things, flapping their hands and things. They've been triggered. It could be the sound of sirens, it could be the sound of rain. Kids hears the sound of rain and it's so excited and it's flapping. Hears horn, when someone honks their horn, all that from what they hear, what they see, the smell of food. Maybe they smell garlic and then they're just upset. Maybe they smell fumes and then they're just upset. You never know, but oftentimes before a behavior happens, there's an antecedent that's triggered it. Okay? Then we go to the escape. Now, if you tell your kid, eat your vegetable, and they say no, and you're like, you're gonna eat that vegetable, and then they start screaming and yelling, they're trying to avoid, they're trying to escape from doing that, and that's why they're behaving that way. Or you tell the kids, all right, we're done at the park, it's time to go home, and they start yelling and crying. You see that a lot over here. Kids responding, acting out of behavior because they don't want to do a certain task. Okay? And the third one is for attention. Now, you will have situations where kids would see mommy and daddy talking, and then they just start yelling or crying or screaming, mommy, daddy, for no reason, just to get attention. And for kids living with who have developmental disabilities, a bad behavior could be cursing, swearing, hitting or biting someone because they see two people having a conversation and they want their attention. They could go over there and tap to get your attention. This is what you want to teach them, but prior to teaching them, they could start yelling and throwing things and shouting. Okay? This is them getting attention, and so they're having a behavior to get your attention. And there are people who would, start doing crazy things like yelling at passerbys. And then I saw a spider. I don't like creepy crawlers. Up close. And then the fourth one is tangible assets. Access to something such as what they want. Maybe they want to play a video game. Maybe they want to play soccer. Maybe they want to go to the park. Maybe they want ice cream. Maybe they want candy at the store. Because they want that, they initiate a behavior to force you to give them what they want. Now remember, maladaptive behavior, there's an antecedent, your response, then there's the behavior, there's a request, and then the antecedent, then the behavior, and then your response to that behavior becomes a consequence. If you reward the behavior in order to stop it, you are simply reinforcing that behavior for future occurrences. Okay, guys? There's a whole lot to unpack about behavior analysis and how to modify behaviors, and I hope you've been sticking around for my next episode. I'm going to be bringing you more topic, okay? I'm going to take a quick break and I might finish the second video. Okay, guys? Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to continue this in my part 2. Okay? Take care and beware. Beware.